So the Xfinity Mobile Arena got loud for Game 4 in Philadelphia, but it wasn't because of their home crowd. Because much like on the court and the product we saw there, New York just dominated the stands in Philly. Very good sweeping. In Philadelphia, after the Sixers players, including Joel Embiid, pleaded with Philly fans to not sell their tickets pre-series. The New York support in Philly for the sweep was strong enough to draw the attention of players on both teams. Listen to this.
I got a lot of respect for you Knicks fans. I'm gonna applaud them too. Let's go Knicks. Great job.
Yeah, it just sucks. That's really all I can say about it, man. Like, it felt louder here for them than it did in the Garden.
Yeah, I used to think Philly was a sports town. I don't know if it is anymore.
Damn. Shots fired, Stephen A. Are you buying Josh Hart's comments that Philly is no longer a sports town?
No, I'm certainly not going to say that. New York Knicks fans travel. That is what they do, and it's right down the New Jersey Turnpike. Please, that's an easy one. This is an indictment against the Sixers organization because you don't really have much to believe in. You've got Tyrese Maxey, who's an absolute stud, and VJ Edgecombe. That young backcourt is something to be excited about. But the figurative face, not the literal face, the legitimate face, but the figurative face of the franchise is a guy in Joel Embiid who has played 40 games or less the last 3 years. He's missed almost 50% of his games. He's almost never there. And so when Philadelphia knows that you don't really have a chance, they got better things to do with their time. It's just that simple. And I think that when you look at when Allen Iverson was there, remember, that brother was box office. Outside of Michael Jordan, he might have been the biggest star in the NBA for a year or two, if not longer. So, and he was a warrior. So even when Knicks fans would show up, it wasn't like this. But the problem is you don't believe in the Sixers. That's what this really comes down to, which is why change needs to happen upstairs. And I'll get to that in a second. Y'all go ahead.
SA, just real quick on that. The Flyers lost 4-0 to the Hurricanes. And if you watch that game,
the day before
in Philly, they got a standing ovation from the Philly crowd. So just to add on to your point, SA, on how the fans have quit on the organization, that is a sign of that because Philly sports is still live and loud.
Is it though? The Phillies just fired their manager. You have the Flyers that just lost in a sweep.
Talking about the way they show up,
The 76ers just lost in a sweep. The Eagles are coming off a real down year. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. Philadelphia sports is in a little bit of hurt right now. They got to get things right. But I hear what you're more talking about organizationally with the 76ers. Let's go to the 76ers.
Go ahead, Perk.
Okay, Perk, hold on. Hold your thoughts. We're going to go to the 76ers here. We're going to zoom in a little bit because they were swept by the Knicks, as we just talked about, but now they've got bigger problems than just that. Joel Embiid was eliminated before the conference finals again, and he remains the only former MVP to not reach a conference finals in their career. The Sixers big man spoke post-game on how he viewed the season, though, and listen to this. It might surprise you.
I know we lost, and I know that's not the right mentality to have. But, for me, this was a success. We came into the season thinking that, there was not much left, based on the last 2 years. And now I'm sitting here, not even worried about my knee. I feel like I still played as hard as I could. I fought hard. I try to give us a better chance to win. I don't know who's going to be here. I don't even know if I'm going to be here, but, whatever happens, happens. But, for me, I'm excited about, really getting back to myself.
All right, so question marks obviously surrounding the 76ers. Where do they go from here, Perk?
Yeah, they got to have a coming to Jesus meeting. And the only three people that should be untouchable is VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and Nick Nurse. And by the way, it's time for Daryl Morey to go. Bob Myers just left our network. By the way, he done an outstanding job because he's basically overseeing a lot of that stuff or overseeing what's going on with the 76ers. And when you think about what's going on, Paul George is owed $54 million next year. Joel Embiid is owed about $55 to $56 million last year. What's going to happen is that you're probably going to have to tie a first-round pick to each one of those guys in order to trade them for a team to take them on. For as Joel Embiid, this relationship has run its course. It's time for both parties to separate. I think it would be in the best interest for the organization, and it would also be in the best interest for Joel Embiid. I believe Joel Embiid needs a change of scenery. I believe Joel Embiid needs a breath of fresh air to go to another place and play, to be under another organization, to be under different leadership. At this point in time, listening to his post-game interview, I think he believes that the time has passed for us him being one of those guys, a franchise guy, to help this organization get to where they're trying to go and ultimately win a championship.
KP, I agree with you that the three untouchables around Nick Nurse and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, the problem is you have an extension starting next year for Joel Embiid at $193 million. And we all know and love basketball. If you are a GM of a team right now, are you going to trade for that? I'm not.
Yeah, with a pick. With a pick.
What if he said if you attach a first-round pick to it, then would you trade for it?
I still don't know if I want that. That's $60 million a year from somebody that played. Look, the conversation is another thing. I mean, he played 38 games this season. Right? So when you look at how many games he's played over the totality of his career, I don't know if I would just want to take that and a pick. I'm absorbing a lot of my cap. And then how am I going to be able to use a talent like that he's being paid as if he's a superstar? But, Perk, if there's anything that we've seen in the game of basketball right now, how fast and what style of play do the Knicks play? How fast and what style of play does Detroit play? How does Oklahoma City play? Mm-hmm. How does San Antonio play? Everything is speed. Yep. It's pace and space. Where does Joel Embiid fit in the new style of basketball? I don't know. And just to add to your point about the indictment on the franchise, I'm just going to give you three names. All right, number one, Julian Champagnie. Where's he, Perk?
San Antonio.
With the Spurs, right? You know, he was on the roster for the 76ers, and then, you know, Matt McClung, they wanted to see him in the slam dunk contest, right? All right, Jared McCain, he's only shooting 80+% from the three-point line. Yep, against the Lakers. And then I'll give you another one, Perk. Isaiah Joe. Where's Isaiah Joe, Perk? All these dudes were on the roster, KP. And what's the thing we're seeing? Like, where do they get their points from the bench? So just to add to your point, the fans can take and come to whatever determination they want, SA. You just start looking at all these other pieces that are on different teams, and then you talk about this team not having a bench, and then what you're seeing, the money tied up in his contract, it feels like they're stuck in purgatory.
So essentially, what you're telling me is Champagnie, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, and others. These are all assets that the Philadelphia 76ers had at their disposal.
Yes.
They are gone, contributing to championship contenders.
Yes.
And the Philadelphia 76ers are home, courtesy of a sweep. Joel Embiid is about to start, not finish, start. A 3-year, $193 million extension. Ladies and gentlemen, that is over $64 million a year over the next 3 years. Paul George is at $54.1 million and $56.6 million over the next 2 years. And of course, you got Maxey. We don't even need to talk about his numbers because he deserves it. The point is, if you had those assets and you know what the hell you're doing, why do you need to go out and get Paul George and give him $212 million over 4 years? See, this is why, as much as it pains for me to say it, Perk is right, and Daryl Morey has to go. But that is not the biggest reason that Daryl Morey has to go. Here's the biggest reason. Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, has lost faith in this franchise. It doesn't believe in it. It doesn't respect it. It tries to support it, but it doesn't respect it. They don't respect the visionary that is Daryl Morey for the city of Philadelphia. They appreciate what he did in Houston, even though he didn't win a championship. They don't appreciate that in Philadelphia. They don't view him as an asset to this organization. A matter of fact, you have some people who felt that Elton Brand never should have been repositioned or having to defer to Daryl Morey. You should have left him to do the job. Okay? But here's the biggest thing. And Josh Harris, the owner for the Philadelphia 76ers, he needs to hear me and hear me good. And Bob Myers, who's not going to like what I'm about to say, he needs to get the hell over it. I love him. We love him. We were happy to work with him. That's my man. But damn it, get over it. I ain't here to be his friend right now. I'm here to tell him, you're a 4-time champion. A 4-time champion executive. As Austin Rivers said the other day, a Hall of Fame executive. And somebody else is making the basketball decisions? Make it make sense. Philadelphia don't go for that. I worked in that city for 17 years. They don't want to hear that. If you are a Hall of Fame executive in a particular sport, they don't give a damn about what you can do for the Washington Commanders as the guy working under Josh Harris. They don't give a damn about all of that. They care about the 76ers in Philadelphia. And what they want is to make sure that they have the very best available to make the necessary noise and make the necessary decisions. Now, Bob Myers may not want the job. And the reason he may not want the job is because of the hole that Daryl Morey has put him in with some of these situations. They've got 7 first-round picks over the next 7 years. That much is true. But in the same breath, you're looking at Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers. No, Philadelphia is done. Philadelphia, the fan base, sent a message. We don't believe in this team. We don't believe in them organizationally. And if the Philadelphia 76ers don't get their act together and make a change up top, the fans are going to come up with more innovative, conspicuous ways to make their presence felt even more with their absence and with their vitriol. This is Philadelphia. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I know this city. Okay, I know the pulse of this city. I worked there for 17 years. I ain't asking a damn soul. I'm telling you what I know. They're going to turn their sights and their ire against Philadelphia. If the 76ers stand pat and they keep things status quo and they just come back with this same bunch next year, it's going to be a problem. Bob Myers needs to take over this franchise. Plain and simple.
Right now, the 76ers are the only team in the NBA that will have 3 players making $40+ million on their roster next season. Coming up here on First Take, an inspired Anthony Edwards willed the Wolves to a win on Mother's Day. But is Jay Will ready to say that the Wolves have the edge now in the series? That answer is next. Plus, the Lakers season could be over tonight with LeBron's future up in